Good day everyone, I'm Hurley Barfy Reviews here, back at it again with my review for Venture Electronics. Yes, but this time we now have the dongles here, which is the Devastator Pro Max and the Devastator Pro. Both of these are one of their latest products, which has been released like a month ago, I believe, or I do believe that it is released a month ago, along with their new earbuds, which I will be reviewing on the next video review. Okay, but before I proceed, I'd like to thank Venture Electronics for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me, since again, I won't be editing this extensively. English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them, okay? Because those people probably that aren't new here are usually reading my reviews, my written reviews, rather than watching this video. But yeah, I won't blame you if it's like it's your first time. Yeah, it is your probably your first time here. Okay, so to give you an idea, the Venture Electronics Devastator Pro and the Pro Max are actually the as what I would want to put it, the the upgraded versions of the first Devastator. If you don't know, probably you don't know the first Venture Electronics Devastator, I have it here. So as you can see, yes, this costs around 10 to $15, I believe. Yeah, it's like 700, probably 700 or 500 pesos. I kind of forgot, but yes, this is the base Devastator. In its time, actually still today, it is still a very capable, it is a well built, well performing dongle in my humble opinion. But yes, of course, it got an upgrade, which is the Devastator Pro and the Devastator Pro Max. So to give you an idea, the Devastator Pro, yes, this one, the Devastator Pro costs around 35 to 40-ish US dollars on its base form, I believe, or it's if you plan to purchase it like on its own. And the Devastator Pro Max costs around $60, I believe. Yeah, it costs around $60 or $70 if you're planning to purchase it with their newest flatted earbuds, the Monk Plus 120 or the Monk Plus 80 ohms. Which in my opinion is a good deal because, spoiler alert, all of these dongles are very, very capable. Okay, some people might say that it is closely priced, and some of the enthusiasts that I have encountered that I let use the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max said that they are closely priced on surface. Of course, on surface they are closely priced, but the moment that they hear the difference, they are quite surprised because they are mostly using Apple dongles. Some of them using the Venture Electronics Odo, and some of them are using the Venture Electronics Devastator, which is right here. And yes, I will explain everything as much as I can, actually. As much as I can. Okay. So here's the packaging. The packaging isn't really that much. Actually, usual it's the usual packaging here with some USB-C to USB-A adapter for you to use your desktop computers that doesn't have a USB-C, probably. Yes, apparently, though, there are still those types of computers. Actually, my laptop has only like one USB-C, but yes. Okay, so here is what you'll be getting with, aside from the adapter. Basically, it's the Devastator Pro Max or the Devastator Pro itself. Now, the Devastator Pro, what widely said to me is, it will come in a 4.4. Yes, it will come in a 4.4 connection. So yeah, do expect that there will be a version of the Devastator Pro that has a 4.4 connection, because apparently a lot of enthusiasts that I have encountered would also want that, because they are already full with the Devastator Pro, and to them the Devastator Pro Max is an overkill, because yes, spoiler alert, it is. More into that later. And yes, the Devastator Pro Max is in 4.4 balance connection. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this will get also a 3.5 SE treatment as well. But in my humble opinion, based on its overall character and everything like that, the Devastator Pro Max should be just fine in 4.4 balance connection as it should be. And yes, apparently Wildly also sent me this one, their own adapter. Yes, the 4.4 to 3.5 adapter. And yes, this is also sold separately. I do believe this is like $10. I'll just put the non-affiliated links in the description below. Okay, so in terms of the visual, yes, in terms of the visual differences, as you can see, you can easily distinguish, yes, you can easily distinguish the difference of the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max. First and foremost, the Devastator Pro Max, the Devastator Pro comes in this colorway. As you can see, it's a silver whitish colorway with its with some very very promising strain relief right there. As you can see, yeah, as you can see, with some logo, the Venture Electronics logo right there, with a very good braided, yes, it is well braided here, well braided cable, as you can see, which is really nice. Let me focus on it real quick. I'm not sure if it can, yeah, as you can see, there we go. Yes, as you can see there. And the Devastator Pro Max has that premium treatment to it, as it should be, because it is a technically a premium, yes, it is a premium dongle. As you can see here, it is a tad bit heavier as well. I do believe that their connections, that their hardware that they used here is also the same or identical as with the Venture Electronics DIC Vita cable. So you'll be expecting a dark gray or a black chromed. Yes, as you can see, it is made of metal, don't get me wrong, it is made of metal and it is chromed, just like that cable, the hardware on that cable. And it is also sleeved, as you can see here. Yeah, it can't seem to focus, but yes, it is also sleeved, as you can see, for added durability. Although I have used this like daily during my commutes, and again, I had no problems when it comes to the build quality of these. They can literally withstand heavy traffic and crowded areas really well. So that's a test for you, because I usually test the products that are sent to me in real world usage. I usually test this within the office, within the malls, within the public spaces, within the cafes, during commutes, during everyday usage. I usually don't do, what do you call this, objective. I usually don't do objective measurements, like for example, should I measure the floor noise, the cyanide, or anything numerical slash tangible stuff, because a lot of people are all already doing that. So I'm doing things in a very practical manner. So I'm using this every day as my daily dongles. And I usually leave my DAP, my Hebe R4, here in the house, because again, it is like too bulky or something like that. Okay. So as for the build quality, again, you will be having no problems, and it is literally a step up within the Devastator. The Devastator will work just fine, but it is noticeably, I would say, fragile compared to the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max, as you can see here, because the cable is just like, it's not flimsy, don't get me wrong, it is not flimsy, but it is obviously thin. And yeah, the um I'd say the, what do you call this? Yeah, the hardware here is a little bit less refined when compared to the Pro and the Pro Max. Okay. Now, as for the compatibility, yes, the compatibility on this one, both on the Devastator Pro and Pro Max, is actually excellent, because I had no problems using this. Yes, I had no problems using this on all of the software and the hardware devices that I have used, whether it be I use this with my daily driver, my Samsung Galaxy A36, or probably my friend's iPhone 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max, or probably his iPad. I do believe that is an 8th gen iPad. I used an adapter of his because he has an adapter, but I only used it like for a short amount of time because I am testing for compatibility issues here and there. I also use this with the USB Audio Player Pro for Android, or Hibi Music. Yes, I also use this with an Edic player or the Fio Music. I also use this with Spotify, Fubar. Um, I used this also with Apple Music actually on that iPad, and it worked just fine. It never had any serious problems or anything like that actually. And yes, I've it can read, yes, it can technically read uh a lot of file types like your usual 16-bit, 24-bit flags. It will do just fine. As for DSD files, it can also play DSD files with the plug-in of the FooBar that I have used it with, but I find it a little bit finicky because what do you call this? There are times that there are certain files that it doesn't play well with the Devastator Pro or the Pro Max, but at the same time it isn't really a big of a deal to me because I only have a few DSD files for me to call it a serious deal breakers or anything like that. But for those people that have a wide library of DSD files, I believe um you may want to, like, I don't know, convert your DSD files to FLAC files for optimal experience here with the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max. But if you're using this for streaming or for probably your CD rip files like I do, because I rip my CDs, you will be having no problems here with the Devastator Pro and Pro Max. Okay, some of the people that I have seen and asked me addressed or raised the concern of a floor noise or some popping on from time to time. I am happy to report to you that those concerns are actually very very minimal. You won't be having any serious problems with that one. As for the floor noise on my units, I never experienced any obtrusive floor noise. Actually, uh, I used the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max for like an hour without anything playing with it, just to hear if there's a floor noise. But I can't seem to find any floor noise with my units. I'm not sure if it's if it's a unit variance or something like that, but I'm happy to report to you that on my end I never had any problems like that. I also didn't had any problems with the base Devastator, so yeah, that's already a good indicator of consistency. As for the popping, because some people say that they encountered some popping here and there, I am happy to report to you that it isn't it isn't obtrusive. Yes, it isn't obtrusive. It is present, but it rarely showed during my 2 weeks of observation here with the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max. Actually, the Pro Max has that. The Devastator Pro, I didn't hear anything, any popping here and there. So yeah, the Devastator Pro Max has that, but it is, I'd say, very minimal and very random. The only time that I have encountered the Devastator Pro Max popping is after 30 minutes of idle. If you let your Devastator Pro Max on idle for like 20 to 30 minutes, you might hear a faint popping before the music comes up or before the track plays. But it isn't really a big of a deal in my humble opinion. It isn't something concerning or anything like that. It still plays files perfectly well actually. Kinda, again, spoiler alert, it kinda reminds me of this one. Yeah, the Megatron on that one, because it plays well, it doesn't have any serious problems here and there. Okay, so yeah, I need to address that, and I need to double check that popping and that floor noise concern, because a lot of people are asking about it, and I don't want to spread any misinformation about it. So yeah, on my what do you call this, on my units, again, I have to reiterate, on the units that have sent to me, it doesn't have that. It doesn't have any serious popping, or it doesn't have any floor noise at all, perceivably. I'm not sure about the numbers though, but yeah, I rarely see or I rarely observe numbers when it comes to these types of stuff, because again, I do things practically. Okay. Okay. Now, as for the battery consumption, do expect that the Devastator Pro Max will definitely eat a lot of or churn. I'm not sure if churn. It will suck up. Yeah, it will suck up a lot, some noticeable battery levels. Like, let's say if you're using your device for like 100%, your smartphone at 100% battery capacity, when you use the Devastator Pro Max for like an hour or two, you will be experiencing 10 to 15% of battery drain. I tested this specifically both on when streaming and playing my local files. So yes, your mileage may vary, and take this with a huge grain full of salt. Now, as for the Devastator Pro, you'll be expecting like 5 to 10% or 5 to 12% of battery drain after an hour or two using this. Because that is their main difference. It's just that the Devastator Pro Max is definitely higher in power output when compared to the Devastator Pro. More into that later. Okay. Now, as for the sound, we should talk about the sound first. So, what makes these two different from one another? Why does Venture Electronics release the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max? Well, in my humble opinion, definitely it is for what do you call this? It is for added variety, or um for different use case scenarios. Okay, so we'll start with the Devastator Pro first. The Devastator Pro first is definitely an upgrade. In my humble opinion, it is an upgrade to the first Devastator. In what way? Well, definitely the overall dynamics and the overall versatility of the sound. Because um, if I'm comparing this side by side, the first Devastator, or the base Devastator, is actually it is actually not that versatile, although it is like a hard nitpick. It is not that versatile on neutral sounding sets. Why is that so? Because it doesn't add additional body to it, to the overall sound, which can make the overall experience a little bit leaner. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. Don't get me wrong, but I see a lot of people that wants to mix and match their setups. Like, for example, this IM is thick sounding, so they need to shave off that additional body to it. So they'll pick a bright sounding dongle. Yes, apparently, it isn't the DAC chip, or the specific DAC chip that colors the sound, or that has that characteristic. Don't get me wrong. It's just an encoder. It's just that the amp chip. Yes, it does. It's the amp chip. It's the amplification chip that has that character to it. I'm hopefully I'm explaining this easy, or in simple terms, because most of the time I just use things practically. Okay, now let's go back to the Devastator Pro. The Devastator Pro, right out of the bat, when compared to the Devastator Pro Max, it is a more neutral, laid-back sounding dongle. It is yes, again, it is a neutral, laid-back sounding dongle that has a very, I wouldn't say blunt, but I would say it is smooth when it comes to the both of the ends of the frequencies. So you will be expecting a smoother treble and a smoother bass response out of this. It still has that VE character wherein the vocals are a bit forward than usual, but they aren't as forward, or they aren't as noticeable when compared to the Devastator Pro Max. It blends well with bright sounding sets. Actually, I use this with my quad brid. Yes, my Kiwi ear septet right here, which has a planar magnetic and a piezoelectric, and it pairs well with the Devastator Pro. One thing that I have to note though, when compared to the Devastator Pro Max, is uh, the Devastator Pro has lesser soundstage width. Yes, it has a little bit of smaller soundstage, but don't get me wrong, that is a nitpick, because I am comparing it to the Devastator Pro Max. It's literally bigger brother. Okay, so if you're coming from the Devastator or the base Devastator, you should expect a more smoother, a more complementing. I'm not sure how to put it in a very specific way, but a more versatile, complementing way or a complementing experience here with the Devastator Pro. Especially on the mids. Actually, the mids has the most noticeable difference here with the Devastator Pro because it adds that body, it adds that laid back nature to the overall sound. So, in my humble opinion, the Devastator Pro pairs well with the bright sounding, yes, with the bright sounding IEMs. It pairs well with the bright sounding, lean sounding IEMs. And yes, I'll discuss about the power output, or in real life scenarios later on. Okay, now as for the Devastator Pro Max. Well, the Devastator Pro Max, in a nutshell, is the more powerful version of the Devastator Pro. Um, Venture Electronics marketed the Devastator Pro Max as a portable or a pocketable Megatron. Yeah, they kind of marketed the Devastator Pro Max as a pocketable Megatron in any way possible, and it kind of shows actually. Um, Basically, the Devastator Pro Max is the Megatron but only has a 4.4 connection and has a wire. Okay, it has an integrated wire. Basically, it is that. So what you'll be expecting here with the Devastator Pro Max is a well balanced sounding IM. It has a tinge of warmth. Well balanced dongle. My apologies. It has a tinge of warmth to it. It has a little bit of body to it, but at the same time, it kind of it has a noticeable mid forward character to it. It makes the vocals, yes, the vocals or the mids a little bit accentuated for you to hear that forward character to it. It is very noticeable when I use this with my Etimotic ER2SE and my Intuora Balance. It is very very noticeable. The mids, the noticeable forward mids character are very noticeable here with the Devastator Pro Max. It is also wider as well. It is wider. It now introduces that out of your head experience. It's like wrapped around in my head experience. I'm not sure on what to call it, but it does have that. It does have that expansive character, especially when I pair this when I pair the Devastator Pro Max with their Monk Plus 120 right here. Everything just sounds wide. It sounds immersive actually, and yeah, it is very very immersive. I was shocked that my ears or my brain can be fooled with the Devastator Pro Max when it comes to the sense of depth and immersion. Okay, okay. Now, as for the power output, again, the Devastator Pro Max is marketed. Yes, it is marketed. It is marketed as a Megatron in a pocket, or a pocket Megatron, and it kind of shows. Why? Because I used the Devastator Pro Max with this one. As you can see, their Venture Electronics Vanguard. Yes, I used it with their hard to drive headphones. Do take note that the Venture Electronics UA Vanguard is a 300 ohm. It is a 300 ohm headphones with a 95 decibels of sensitivity, and it sings. It literally sings in like 50% volume, and that's crazy because I never thought that someone or a company can like push the limits of the technology, that they can push power with the dongle as this strong. Because usually whenever we do audio meets or something like that, we usually bring stacks of DACs and amps. I usually bring my Efizen stack with me, or probably the Fosi Audio SK02 with me, or of course the Megatron, and this one, yes, of course, the Galvatron with me. whenever I want to listen to my hard to drive headphones, my 600 ohms headphones, or probably my quad braid, just to make it sing. But now gone are those days, because the Devastator Pro Max literally can handle it all outside, and that's a really good thing. It saves storage, it saves time to set up. It literally is just like plug and play. You won't be having any problems with that. And yes, again, I would like to repeat, the Venture Electronics Vanguard, when paired with the Devastator Pro Max, only needs 50 out of 100 volume steps for it to sing. My what do you call this, my kiwi ear septet, yes, the quad braid that I've been telling you, only needs 20. At times it only needs 16 volume steps out of 100 volume steps on my laptop, just for it to sing properly. As for the Venture Electronics Monk Plus 120 ohms, and the other earbuds that I have here, like the Duno Alpha 3 and the Venture Electronics Zen 3.0 FE, it only needs 20 to 30 volume steps out of 100 on my laptop for it to sing properly. It is that powerful, okay? So that's the reason why I keep telling that the Devastator Pro Max is technically an overkill for 95% of people, but at the same time, it is a very good investment if you want to dive into the hobby. Okay, now as for the Devastator Pro, don't get me wrong, the Devastator Pro is still a very capable, very powerful, if you may. It is a tad bit powerful than the base Devastator, and for most people, actually, this will be the most sensible. This is the most sensible, this is the most logical option. Like, specifically, if you're just using IEMs, like for example, if you're just using IEMs, even those planar magnetic sets, like for example the Kefine Arnar or the Heidi's MP145 Pro, you will be having a already splendid time with the Venture Electronics Devastator Pro. When used with planar dongles, I only needed like 20 to 25 volume steps out of 100 volume steps on my laptop for it to sync properly. That's already a very solid very solid experience. If you're using this with a, like, let's say a smartphone, an Android smartphone, or probably an Apple product or an Apple iPhone, you only need like 40 to 50% volume just for your IEMs to sing properly. Of course, you can still use this with headphones, but in my humble opinion, the Devastator Pro Max fits the bill better than the Devastator Pro when it comes to hard to drive stuff, like for example headphones. Because in my humble opinion, again, the headphones seems to lack that dynamics that I am looking for, that snappiness that I am looking for, that fullness that I am looking for when I use it with the Devastator Pro. And to give you an idea, again, I am using it with this one, with their own Vanguard. So yeah, for if you're planning to dive in the headphones world, probably the Devastator Pro Max is for you. But if you're an IM guy and you just want a very capable and reliable USB DAC, well, the Devastator Pro would be just fine, like literally 99% of the time. Okay, now I'll switch to the Tagalog version of this review for a quick rundown. This will be just really quick. Okay, so bali itong si Devastator Pro Max and si Devastator Pro, ito yung recent dongles. Ito yung recent dongles ng Venture Electronics. Si Devastator Pro, nasa 2K. So, nasa actually 1.8 siya sa Shopee ngayon. And itong si Devastator Pro Max is nasa 3,000. Nasa 2.7K siya ngayon. As for the drivability, compatibility, wala kang magiging problem dito. Kahit iPhone pa yan, kahit MacBook pa yan, wala kang magiging problem sa Devastator Pro at Pro Max. Okay, dun sa build quality, obviously magkaiba sila, kita naman. May premium may premium treatment, of course, itong si Devastator Pro Max. Naka-sleeve na siya. Maganda rin yung ng Y-split, ng shielding niya, as you can see, or yung tension relief, ayun yung tamang term. Tapos ayun, may same treatment siya dun sa Vita DIC cable nila na parang chromed siya ng medyo hefty and premium feeling, maganda sa touch. So siya, hefty siya, hindi siya hollow. Okay, may mga nagsabi sa akin na ayun daw kung may floor noise daw ba o may popping. Well, yung floor noise wala ko narinig actually. Even dito sa first nila, ito sa Megatron. Yan. First Megatron nila, wala ko narinig talaga diyan. Yung sa popping, sa Devastator Pro Max ko lang siya narinig pero sobrang random. Twice lang siya nangyari after ng 30 minutes na naka-idle. Like, literally, naka-idle lang. Walang pinapatugtog, walang kahit ano narinig. Literally, wala. Doon lang siya nangyari. And, ayun, sa ibang devices naman, like sa smartphones, ganyan, wala rin ako narinig na ganun. So, ayun nga, hindi siya big deal para sa akin. Pero, nakita na ako ng mga taong naghahanap ng gapless playback. Yeah, nakita na ako ng taong naghahanap ng gapless playback sa Tig 2,000 o 3,000 pesos na music player. So, hindi ako surprised if magiging big deal sa kanila yung ganong concern dito sa Devastator Pro Max. Okay, now sa tunog, paikliin ko na lang. Si Devastator Pro, neutral siya, laid back, may pagka-warm. Actually, mas warm siya kaysa sa Devastator Pro Max. Mas fit siya sa mga maninipis yung tunog na IM. Halimbawa, may Etymotic ER2 SE ka, ER3 SE, ER4 SR, or probably may bright sounding na IM, or probably may Tanch Gym IM ka. Maganda tong Devastator Pro kasi may dagdag siya na smoothness at saka may dagdag siya na kapal ng tunog. Ngayon, itong Devastator Pro Max naman, mas malawak yung tunog niya para sa akin kaysa dito sa Devastator Pro. Itong Devastator Pro Max, malawak siya na spacious. Mas rinig ko yung layers, mas immersive siya actually. And ayun nga, anong tawag doon? Mas less yung kapal niya kaysa dito sa Devastator Pro. So mas dynamic siya slightly. Sa sound wise, may worth it ba na difference itong dalawa sa sound wise? Para sa akin wala. Mas may worth siya kapag inisip mo na yung power output. Kasi sa power output, dito nagkatalo tong dalawang to. Itong Devastator Pro Max, if may bala ka na mag-headphones, mas okay itong Devastator Pro Max. Kasi kahit 300 ohms, kahit Sennheiser HD600 pa yan. Kasi kinaya nitong Vanguard nila na 300 ohms, 95 decibels ng sensitivity. So, in theory, kaya din yun ng Devastator Pro Max. Kaya niyang pakantahin ng maayos yung Sennheiser HG600. Pero for most people, halimbawa ikaw na madalas is naka-IEMs lang naman, okay na itong Devastator Pro. Wala ka na magiging problem dito. I'd even argue na most of the time, mas versatile pa yung tunog ng Devastator Pro kaysa sa Pro Max. Gawa nga nung mas rinig mo kasi yung mids bump, yung pagka-forward ng mids dito ng Pro Max kaysa sa Pro. Yung Pro kasi, Devastator Pro, laid back neutral lang talaga siya para sa akin. So, ayun, mamimili ka na lang talaga. Depende sa gusto mong paggamitan or depende sa gusto mong sa gusto mong pairing. Okay? Pero para sa akin, sobrang sulit na itong dalawang to kasi hindi na ako magdadala ng Megatron sa labas. Kung gusto ko lang makinig ng hard to drive na excuse me, na mga headphones or probably yung quad-bred ko na Kiwi Accepted kasi is powerful enough na tong mga to. Okay, so kung galing ka sa Devastator, para sa akin kahit yung Pro lang okay na upgrade yun. Pero sige, kung sabihin mo gusto mo masulit pang mas matagalan talaga, edi mag Pro Max ka. Kahit alin naman dyan, hindi ka magkakaroon ng problem. Okay, balik na ako sa English review para sa verdict. Okay, so what's my verdict here with the Devastator Pro and the Devastator Pro Max? In my humble opinion, the Devastator Pro and the Devastator Pro Max solves the transporting problem of the audio files. Because again, back in my day, when I was still a beginner, we usually bring stacks of amps and headphones, amplifiers and DACs and headphones just to make the headphones sing. We usually bring power bricks. We usually look for cafes with power bricks just for us to plug in our stacks, our DACs, and our and our amplifiers. Well, those days are literally gone with the Devastator Pro and the Pro Max, because that kind of solves those problems. Again, literally the Devastator Pro Max is a grab and go dongle. You just plug it, play it, use it with your headphones, and you're good to go. Uh, Um, I did once use the Devastator Pro Max and the Vanguard outside in a cafe, and it just played just fine. I had no problems, and it sings really well. So yeah, it kind of solves those problems. And yes, it is a very good lineup for those people who doesn't want to bring their, like, let's say probably they have the Megatron and the Galvatron with them, and they don't want to bring that outside just to hear their precious track files or their precious playlist. Well, the Devastator Pro Max and the Devastator Pro answers has the solution for it. If you're coming from the Devastator Pro, you will be having a very good if you're coming for the from the first or the base Devastator, which is this one, you will be having a really good time with the Devastator Pro. There is in my humble opinion, a night and day difference between these two dongles, and it kind of solves the pairing problem, or it's actually a nitpick. The pairing nitpick that I had before, wherein the Devastator, the base Devastator, doesn't pair well with bright or lean sounding IMs. It kind of solves that problem. And the Devastator Pro Max again solves the problem, wherein people don't want to bring their huge bulky stacks, their stack of amps and DACs, and they just want to listen to their music plug and play. So yeah, the Devastator Pro Max kinda answers that problem. Okay, and now that ends my review for the Venture Electronics Devastator Pro and the Devastator Pro Max. Again, I'd like to thank Venture Electronics for sending this unit to me in an exchange for a very honest and transparent review. Rest assured that all of my reviews are honest and transparent to the core, like I always do, for the benefit of everybody, of course, including me, since again and again, I won't be editing this extensively. English isn't really my native language, and I prefer writing reviews rather than recording them. Okay. So along with the Venture Electronics sending to me these dongles, they also sent me this. This doesn't look like much, but as you can see, it has that gold glow to it. This is the yeah, this is the Venture Electronics Monk Plus 120. Yep, it's the 120 ohms version of Monk Plus, and this is the Monk Plus 80, as you can see here. Yeah, I use different foams for this just to discern. Yes, just to discern which is which. But I am sure that this is the 80 ohms because this has the mic. The 120 ohms doesn't have that mic. And there we go. I'll be reviewing these two soon, or publishing my review for these two soon. I am actually halfway there, finishing the reviews of this. I just need more time to notice their differences and how it fares with the other lineups of Venture Electronics. Okay. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for listening to my ramblings, and see you on the next one. Isa pa? Last one.